No matter where you stop, no matter the moment of life you got tired, what matters is that it is always possible to start over. It is necessary to start over. Starting is giving yourself a new chance. It is renewing hopes in life, and most importantly, believe in you again. Did you suffer a lot in this period? Cried a lot? It was soul cleaning. Did you get angry at people? It was to forgive them one day. Did you feel only several times? It is because you closed the door to the angels, believed that all was lost. It was the beginning of your improvement. Yeah, now it's time to restart. To think of the light. To find pleasure in the simple things. How about a bold haircut different? A new course? Or does that old desire to learn to paint, draw, dominate the computer, or anything else? Look, how much challenge. Look, how much new thing in this world of my God waiting for you. Are you feeling alone? Nonsense. There are so many people that you have gone away, that you pushed with your isolation period. There are so many people waiting for only one smile of yours to get close. When we locate ourselves in sadness, we don't even endure ourselves. We were horrible. The bad mood is eating our liver until the mouth is bitter. Restart. Today is a good day to start new challenges. Where do you want to get? Go loud? Dreaming loudly. Do you want the best of the best? Do you want good things for life? Thinking like this, we bring us what we want. If we think small things, we will have. Already, if we wish strongly the best, and especially fight for the best will settle in our lives. And it is today, the day of mental cleaning. Play away everything that holds you to the past, the little world of sad things, photos, pieces of clothing, bullet paper, movie tickets, travel tickets. Throw it all out, but mainly empty your heart. Stay ready for life to find love again. Remember, we are in love. We are always able to love and be loved. To love many times, many people. After all, we are loved. Because I am the size of what I see. That it is precisely that we can thank God for the friendship He has with us. It's so beautiful to be friends with someone, isn't it? It is so beautiful for us to go through the experience of trust. We thank God because we have friends. One of the most precious things we can have in life is someone we trust. Someone whom we trust our lives. When you realize that God holds your hand through human forces of people who are here on our side. To affirm God's love is, in fact, to affirm His friendship for us. There's a church document that begins very beautifully, saying that God entertains with His friends. What is entertainment? It is when we have the opportunity to not even realize that time is passing because we are very well accompanied. Usually, when we are very well accompanied, living something very good, we do not realize that time has passed. Different when we are with people who are not very pleasant or living unpleasant situations. The feeling is that time is greater than it lasts on the clock. That's why we stay all the time. Oh my God. Time doesn't pass. Time doesn't. Didn't it come time to leave? Unlike when we are in comfortable situations, where people we love are before us, sharing that moment of life. Even because the beauty of life, it multiplies each time we share with someone we love. This is even a mystery that is worth it to identify all the time in life. If you want to multiply life, you need to divide it. Multiplication only happens if there was the division. It seems contradictory, but it's true. It may be contradictory in theory, but it is true in practice. We multiply what is good as we divide with others. It is the mystery of life. It is the mystery of God teaching us that this experience of ourselves being who we are, of doing what we do, only makes sense if we are accompanied by people we love, people we are grateful to. This word gratitude is so strong, it is so full of meaning in human life. Giving thanks. Give thanks because you get what you don't even deserve. Because the true friend often offers us what we don't deserve. Because if we are analyzed from what we do right or wrong, there is usually not much lefty. We make a lot of mistakes in this life, but the people who love us, they don't give up on us. even when we do everything wrong. We start like this, thanking God, because even when we do nothing He would like us to do, He keeps loving us, even if we do everything wrong, even if we don't get it right, even if we fall, even if we have. He's always there. As the document that speaks of Holy Scripture says so beautifully, it is a document that deals with revelation, when it tells us that God entered the mystery of human life, loves humanity, and entertains with it. Maybe today in this program you can find out a way to entertain yourself with God and you don't even realize that time will pass. You have an experience of staying in God for a few minutes, for a few hours, sometime that suddenly doesn't fit the clock. But maybe you can find out the entertainment in God. And every time we entertain ourselves in God, our hearts fill with hope. Because God only tells us He can even move our wounds, but He moves to heal. He moves to guide our ways, because everyone who loves wants to see well sent the beloved. That it is precisely that we can thank God for the friendship He has with us. It's so beautiful to be friends with someone, isn't it? It is so beautiful for us to go through the experience of trust. We thank God because we have friends. One of the most precious things we can have in life is someone we trust our lives. When you realize that God holds your hand through human forces of people who are here on our side, to affirm God's love is, in fact, to affirm His friendship for us. There is a church document that begins very beautifully, saying that God entertains with His friends. What is entertainment? That's when we have the opportunity not to realize that time is going through because we are very well accompanied. Usually when we are very well accompanied, living something very good, we do not realize that time has passed. Different when we are with people who are not very pleasant or living unpleasant situations. The feeling is that time is greater than it lasts on the clock. That's why all the time we stay, oh my God, time doesn't pass. Time doesn't. Didn't it come time to leave? Different from when we are in comfortable situations, where people wow love are before us. Sharing that moment of life. Even because the beauty of life, it multiplies every time we share with someone we love. This is even a mystery that is worth it to identify all the time in life. If you want to multiply life, you need to divide it. Multiplication only happens if there was the division. It seems contradictory, but it's true. It may be contradictory in theory, but it is true in practice. We multiply what is good as we divide with others. It is the mystery of life. It is the mystery of God teaching us that this experience of being who we are, of doing what we do, only makes sense if we are accompanied by people we love, people we are grateful to. This word gratitude is so strong, it is so full of meaning in human life. Give thanks. Give thanks, because you get what you don't even deserve. Because the true friend, he usually offers us what we don't deserve. Because if we are analyzed from what we do right or wrong, there is usually not much left. We make a lot of mistakes in this life. But the people who love us, they don't give up on us, even when we do everything wrong. We start like this, thanking God, because even when we do nothing He would like us to do, He keeps loving us. Even if we do everything wrong, even if we don't get it right, even if we fall, even if we small, He's always there to look in the eye like a friend looks at the other friend and entertains with us. As the document so beautifully says, that speaks of the Holy Scripture, of revelation. It is a document that deals with revelation. When it tells us that God entered the mystery of human life, loves humanity, and entertains with it. Maybe today in this program, you can find out a way to entertain yourself with God. You don't even realize that time will pass. You have an experience of staying in God for a few minutes, for a few hours, sometime. That suddenly doesn't fit the clock. But maybe you can find out the entertainment in God. And every time we entertain ourselves in God, our hearts fill with hope, because God only tells us pleasant things. He may even move our wounds, but He moves to heal. He moves to guide our ways, because everyone who loves wants to see well sent the beloved. I don't get kissed from hand, as it is commonly said when things are very easy. God gave us freedom as a gift. I bring inside me. You bring you. We all receive. Now being free is something else. It's like having a plant that needs to grow through the care we have with it. When you irrigate, when you fertilize, so that all that potential in the seed will develop, and that seed can become the tree that potentially exists inside. The same thing is freedom. Being able to say, today I am, is you assume that you are in a process of liberating your own freedom, because only those who are offered can only freely try it. This freedom is perhaps what delights me most in my life, because sometimes I see myself a prisoner of such childish feelings, jealousy, comparison. Increasingly, the movement of life leading me to understand from my experience, and the experience of seeing those who live by my side. Yeah. And sometimes we don't understand that from low realities, say our lives, from the passions of the soul, they need to be dominated from top to bottom, not from the bottom up. So they are really exercises. It is a spiritual exercise, raising the bridge of the inner castle. And okay, let's know what are these so and so, huh? That often our love, instead of protecting it, unprotects. Because it infantilizes, it is often marked. Because of a reality in love, it's just like the person who is in love. She can't see reality. A mind in love, a mind that is very involved with another person who has just arrived, is a danger. It is a danger to make wrong decision. The blind passion. I always like this differentiation, right? Passion is the anteroom of love. We can only say that we love after erasing all the fireworks of passion, because they are dangerous. And the right not to like it, Fabio. We have the right not to like it. Liking is one thing. Loving is another. I can sympathize with you deeply. We have a delicious connection. But I'm not obliged to love you, because I did not choose to love you. Loving is a choice. And sometimes in our daily lives, we don't know this difference, and you don't even give the right to like someone. If so, and so is almost dying there and needs my help, I go there. I'm a Christian. I serve Christ. But I don't need to eat popcorn for the cinema with the person. Of course. You have a limit that you can set. Yes. A affection. Love holds respect. This is what you are saying. I won't hurt you, I won't boycott you, but on the other hand, I don't have an obligation to live. To establish this daily bond. To change the phone. And sometimes people confuse a lot. They err a lot. It's an immaturity even in understanding Christianity. Wow. How many times have I suffered from these immaturities? I've been immature so much. So much. Oh my God. And sometimes I find some people so free, but so free they have already found, it seems to me, the deepest of Christianity. You talked about these steps that we need to dive to get to what is most indomitable in us. And Christianity is a movement precisely that goes through this achievement of what is indomitable. And then you live the freedom to be who you are. Discipline is today's word. We are increasingly plunged into a context that clears us from discipline, and this is very sad. It is very sad when we identify that our children are getting strange. They are getting strange to any kind of sacrifice. Because life has to be like this. Life we shave to make it easier. This maturity. How today's world encourages us out all the time. How has inner life been difficult these days? It is a costly job. My therapist always said, we think that inner life comes for free, comes in the package. I was born, so I already have everything internally installed. It's like I have several programs to run. But I need to understand how they work. And really, stop talking or being away from people is not alone. It is not yet silent inside. Sometimes we think we have no dominion over thought. Yes, we have mastery over thinking. Thought needs to be educated at a high level. We need to raise the level of thought with good content. Oh, my head is full of bullshit. If for intellectual life you need to educate thought through concentration, spiritual life is no different, right? It's just that sometimes we pray asking God, take it out of my head, and then our Lord sometimes gives us a good movie, a good book, and in fact, we need to live that reality of superior dominates and inferior. So I have my instincts there, my emotions, my feelings that are already more aware, my thoughts, my wills that are the decisions based on my thinking. And here comes the spirit. I can even put here will and thought. There is no one or anything that can enslave a mentality of someone who really wants to be free. It's just like in that movie, The Dream of Freedom, when that man spent so many days in the lonely, stuck there. When he left there, they asked him, how did you stand up to stay there? He said, it was quiet. I heard music all the time. Then the other said, but how? There is no music there. They are all in my head. It is here. It is in the head that we are released. This is why this is where God happens. When God enters my mindset, when God changes my way of looking at me, my way of looking at the world, He will naturally change my way of looking at those next to me. He will change the way as I look at my restrictions, my losses. And then another destination is not to be sought, to be conquered, to be experienced, except satisfaction. Anyone who has panic syndrome knows how bad it is to feel what we feel, how hard it is. Sometimes we don't have the courage to do the simplest things. You are afraid of the trivial of life, because the rite, it is absolutely necessary. The rite of life, the ritual, and sometimes panic, depression puts us unwilling to the rite of everyday life. You are discouraged to go, to do, to speak. Always, my people, in recent years. The simplest things I needed to do, I thought I wasn't going to handle it. I had a mass, I was approaching the place, and I wouldn't handle it. I needed to go to the airport to get a plane. Chaco wouldn't take care of a plane and get to the place. Do you know when you need to think about each phase of the process? And in every phase of the process, do you think it's too heavy for you? Paulo, who is the driver who took me all these years in the shorter distances, he would take me to the airport, sometimes 2-3 times a week. And he became a symbolic for me of security, you know? I never said that to him. You're inside the car, right? In recent years, when I was going to go, I had some physical disorder, you know? Or I had a fever. I had diarrhea. I had hunger, eagerness. There was so much. Then I would stop the car. I got in. I arrived at the airport when I needed to get out of the car. And I looked at Aetha like this. He without an idea what was going on inside me, right? Usually I had been saying goodbye to him. My friend, I can't wait to see you again. He laughed. And so, when I arrived in Garulhos, the best thing I had was to see Paulo there among the people. So when it gets a difficult process, when everything gets hot for you, the more you see meaning in everything you do, There's an order being given inside you. Change. Move the game pieces. Do something. The way you are playing, you are losing. Then you enter the other and think, wow, better than I do. How many times do I hear that? You can't stop. Your work is very important. The people themselves, for whom I asked for help. How many times did I hear that? Have you ever wondered how many people watch this program? Because yes, I think all the time. Have you ever wondered how many people feed on your work? Yes, I think all the time. And even what is the limit point for my where to justify the good I do? Is there a limit for me to interpret as important? Is there any right in all this? That at some point I can think of myself without thinking about what I am doing for others. It's hard, it is not. It is a difficult reflection. It is a difficult math to make. Because he is a famous person. But he is a priest who has chosen to dedicate himself to others. Who chose to dedicate his life to this arduous mission. You have a much harder life than mine. Much more. And there I, looking at me, to life I have, identify that. An extreme tiredness that it may be that when I tell the other, I have a little shame, but there is no way invent another situation. And then this opportunity that I am having to be present in the people's lives without necessarily having to face my fears. It's been good, you know? But it is also dangerous. It's dangerous because I can't accommodate myself. I can't adapt to my fears. I know you can't adapt to your fears either. When we adapt to our fears, what happens? Courage is bags and leaves because you are adapted to fears. Every time I need to face myself, I have to get courage inside. That I don't know where it is, where it exists. So if I get adapted to my fears, it's like I gave the property of my life to fears. So I'm here. With people who are not afraid. When you leave your home, you know that all the time you will be requested. At first this is so good, but then this is so heavy. It is as if you are all the time in a state of vigilance, because absolutely nothing in you can fail. People are not usually prepared for our flaws. They are expecting that we will correspond to their hopes. So I'm here, surrounded by people who cause me these fears. Because there are no expectations in me. With me. For me. See me as I am. Love me as I am. I can be adapted. Right? But and if suddenly this is so comfortable that I don't want anything else. So that's what I've been thinking, you know? I received a very interesting message too, that I would like to make a reflection here. I find it very pertinent. It is a very simple story, but it caught my attention. One day a teacher arrived in the classroom and told students to prepare, because they would take a surprise test. Everyone hit their lines, waiting for scared the test that would come. Everyone has gone through this, right? That teacher who arrives and speaks. Oh. Today I was cold in the belly every time my teacher spoke, a tournament of facts. Remember that? And I, very smart, ended up buying that pencil that had a table, right? It worked 2 classes. Then she found out that I searched. Then the teacher was delivering, and then the test sheet, with the part of the text turned down as usual, should be mimeographed. I was remembering the mimeograph. We were almost dizzy. So much that he smelled alcohol, because the teacher delivered right when he was around. smelling of alcohol inside the room. Then he delivered to everyone. After everyone received, the teacher asked them to unravel the sheet. To everyone's surprise, there was not one written question, not a text. Just a dark round point in the middle. The teacher, analyzing everyone's surprise expression, said the following: "Now you will write a text about what you were seeing." All confusing students then began the difficult and inexplicable task of making a text about that image. After the time, the teacher collected the leaves, put in front of the class, and began reading the newsrooms aloud. All, without any exception, defined only the dark point, trying to explain their presence in the center of the sheet. After reading the room in silence, and the teacher then began to explain, "This test will not be for you to have any grade. It is just to serve as a lesson for all of us." No one in the room talked about the blank sheet, but all centralized their attention in the dark point that was in the middle. So it happens with our lives. We have a whole blank sheet to observe, enjoy, but we always put our attention on the dark point. So life is a gift of nature given to each of us with extreme affection and care. We have reason to always celebrate the renewal nature, the friends who are present, the job that gives us the livelihood, the miracles we witness daily. But yet we insist on looking only at the dark point, the health problem that worries us, the lack of money, the difficult relationship with the family member, the disappointment with the friend. The dark points are minimal compared to everything we have daily. But they are the ones who populate our mind. Very interesting, isn't it? And that's so real, isn't it, my people? Many situations we face. Many situations that I find for my life. I find it very interesting that when we only see the problem, we really fail to understand the totality of life. It is the same when a plane crashes. Why are we afraid of flying? Those who need to fly regularly from time to time begins to have their syndromes there. From time to time, I have this. It is because every day millions and millions of planes take off and return to their destinations without any problem. But from time to time, I don't know. From year to year, it depends a lot on the time. Sometimes many planes fall at the same time. But sometimes you spend a long time without hearing the story of an accident. But when it happens, our eyes turn to that tragedy, to that evento. And that is enough to put in us insecurity. The other day, for example, I went through a travel situation from Sao Paulo to Rio de Janeiro on a flight with a lot of turbulence. Horrible. One of the worst experiences I've had in my life inside an aircraft. We shaken from Sao Paulo to Rio de Janeiro within a terrible storm, with rays all the time. And at the time, of course, everyone fear is general. That's sacred. Goes up. Goes down. Goes up. Goes down. That noise, right, inside the plane, all shaken. It is natural for us to think we'll fall. Only if we'll think from statistics. We know that being in heaven is safer than being in Dutra, even in the midst of that turbulence. But now, who said that at the time we are living that suffocation? We are able to think with this tranquility. And that's why rationalizing a particular situation helps us reduce the negative emotion it causes us. This is philosophy, see? Applied clinical philosophy. When we are able to rationalize a situation, we somehow put in the collar the emotion that makes us suffer. Because the thought arouses an emotion. It's always like that. When you awaken this emotion, I end up being taken because I am sensory all the time. I am an open field. We are open territory. We are hit by words. We are hit by images. We are hit by images. We are hit by gestures, and immediately this information passing through our brain triggers a way of feeling what is happening. And often the solution of the discomfort that emotion causes is in the rationalization we can make it. This is an intelligent attitude, right? God teaches us this all the time. It is amazing how Jesus did this to people. Jesus knew that what he was doing was uncontrolled emotion. Then he had a word to reorient that emotion without control. That's why we really believe our conversion goes through our mind. Why? Because the mind transforms our way of feeling. When I'm used to just looking at my problems, When I live this avalanche that these problems cause emotionally in me, when I am not able to rationalize them and balance them to refer a solution to them, I risk being hostage to these uncontrolled emotions. And Jesus, he lent. He gave that person a new way of looking at life. That's what he did to Zacchaeus. That's what he did to Peter. That's what he did to John. He changed the feeling from a thought. This is very interesting because we can talk like that didactically, but when we are living, reason and emotion are in the same package, right? But we have, as the moment the emotion is dominating us, trying to put a halter in this emotion so that it will not harm us. It's just like you. It was abandoned. Let's say you had a boyfriend, you were in love with him, he cheated on you, left, and now you live the discomfort of not being next to him. It is an emotion. It is an emotion that harms you, because this emotion, it makes you feel thrown away. It makes you feel despised. Now, how can you save yourself? Prevent this emotion from continuing to throw you into a well that is later difficult to leave. It is you to rationalize. If he left, it's because I don't represent him much. If I don't represent him much, it is not worth suffering for him. Then you start to have irrational information to try to organize affective disorder. What did I really lose? When your boyfriend goes away, what do you really lose? Have you lost concrete situations? Or did you lose projections you had in that relationship? Or dreams you had that you didn't even know they were going to be realized? Sometimes, my people, we suffer for a future that we don't even have. Many times, the moment we lose, you not only lose what you really lost, but you lose the expectations you had about what you were losing. But you see, expectations are not concrete realities. Who guarantees you that what you were really dreaming about would happen? You see, when rationalizing this, you start to give yourself an opportunity to look at life in a different way. Then you can even play with yourself, right? Left. Maybe it took the possibility of having a disgrace in my life, because I didn't know how marriage was going to be with this creature all. That is why faith helps us think positively. Do you know why? When we lose something and we have faith in God, we solve it like this. God knows what he has done. Is not true? This greatly relieves people's suffering, and this is real, because it goes through the person's mental scheme. It is a faith that interferes with the way of thinking. When that person was able to say, God knows what he does, I lost. The job, it didn't work out. The trip I dreamed so much didn't work out. You better put this phrase inside your heart. Since you can't change the result. True. God knows what he does. The trip did not work. I remember now, I think a month ago, in that first problem of the volcano in Argentina. Chile, who canceled all the flights that would go to Argentina. I was boarding an event there at Guarulhos Airport. Then I found a lady with both daughters, and then they were very happy when they saw me. And then they came to talk to me in the check-in line. We chatted, and I asked, "Where are you going?" She said, "No, priest. We are now coming back as home. That we have been here since 5 o'clock in the morning trying to board for Buenos Aires. We had scheduled a weekend there. It didn't work. We can't go. We lost everything." This was almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they needed to go back to Campinas. They had even given up going to Buenos Aires. So, I said, "Wow, but how sad, right? The expectations of us frustrate." Then you, the girl's mother, turned and said like this, "Father." I was really very upset. I was boring, cried. But now it came to me something like that in my heart. It was not to be. We will not die today. We will have the opportunity to go to Buenos Aires on another occasion. I won't be causing greater suffering than I have caused so far. What can I do? The volcano is there, judging your ashes. Well, I'm there. God knows what he does. And she used this phrase, which I find extremely wise. So we put the moment we can't change the result of an investment we made. Loving is investment. Sometimes we love that person, want to be by her side, but she doesn't want to be with us anymore. Instead of you diving and fostering, multiplying this suffering, glue it in your heart. I lost. The rings are going, the fingers are, right? Don't you have this expression either? We will not pay attention to what we lost. Let's give life a new opportunity. Feed this expression of faith within you. God knows what he does. If it didn't happen, it was because it was not supposed to have been doing. And this is a detachment, my people, which requires a lot of simplicity from us, but it can work. When we, in fact, interpret faith as this interference from God in our lives, modifying the facts or even not allowing what we would like to happen, we can solve this event of us like this. Simply, no, it worked out, all right, I'm here, I'll have new investments, I'll have new possibilities, I'll make new friends, I'll get a boyfriend. Finally, you, in the face of your frustrations, end up finding a way to continuate.